Welcome to the Wyoming Women's Business Center's 2021 webinar series. Today's presentation is Audit Your Small Business's Online Presence in 30 Minutes. My name is Jessica Brower and I'll be your speaker today. Before we start, I want to point out the Zoom control panel. It may be on the bottom or the top of your screen depending on how your setup looks. And I want to call attention to both the questions and the chat function. If you have any comments or questions during the webinar today, I'd like you to use those to communicate with me. This webinar is being recorded and a link to the recording will be sent out to all registrants shortly after the live event this afternoon. You can also visit our website at www.wyomingwomen.org and navigate to the training tab to view all upcoming webinars and past webinar recordings. And if you're joining us live, a survey will launch shortly after we close. If you could, please complete that survey as this provides us and our funding partners with very valuable information. As a reminder, all participants are muted to minimize background noise. So once again, if you have any questions or comments during the presentation, please type them in the chat box or the questions panel. So before I get started with this afternoon's presentation, let's go over some quick information about the WWBC in case you aren't familiar. The WWBC is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to enable and empower Wyoming entrepreneurs with a special emphasis on women who are economically or socially disadvantaged. We do that through 4 distinct programs. The first is our business counseling and training program, which is always free. The second is our microfinance program, which offers microloans. Third is the Artist Development Center we run in conjunction with the Works of Wyoming store in downtown Laramie. And lastly, we launched our COVID-19 support program last spring and just wrapped that up last month after supporting over 440 businesses with resources and grant dollars. I want to call special attention to these services available to you as a Wyoming business owner when you become a client of the WWBC. If you aren't a client already, you can sign up by going to wyomingwomen.org or contacting us directly for more information. At the end of the presentation, I'll have some contact information with an email and phone number for you to write down. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So research shows that anywhere between 70 and 80% of shoppers research a business online before they visit in person or make a purchase. So the question is, are your customers finding the right information about you online? The details in these online listings are incredibly important, though it may feel tedious and maybe not that exciting. However, when we're up against big box stores and streamlined online retailers, business opportunities are often lost because of really simple mistakes or typos, broken links, and you're missing out on the opportunity to wow your shoppers and getting them into your store or getting them into your online store to make a purchase. So a suggestion as we go through this is you could open another tab in your browser and follow along. So you could take a look at what some of these things look like for your business, or if that's too much, too fast, you're always welcome to jot down some notes or check out the recording, which will be available to you, like I said. So in this quick audit of your online presence, we're going to go over a few things. We're going to look at your Google My Business listing, your social media accounts, review sites, local listings, and a little bit about SEO. So step 1 is as simple as going to Google and typing in your business name. This is where you can start on all of these tasks. And this is a really great way to get an idea of what your customer is seeing when they're looking for you. So what will pop up is your Google My Business listing, which will look like these photos on the right of the screen. Throughout this presentation, I have the Works of Wyoming gift gallery, which is in downtown Laramie, which I mentioned in the introduction, and the Women's Business Center, just so you can kind of see what this looks like for 2 kind of separate business models. So in this listing, you want to make sure all of the information is correct. Is the name correct? Is the address right? Maybe you moved addresses and that hasn't changed. Is the phone number correct? Is the email address correct? Is the website correct? When you click on all of these hyperlinks, everything that's in blue, is it taking you to the right place? Or is it taking you to something that's broken or something that's outdated that is ultimately sending your customers or people who are looking to learn more about you to a dead end? Are your hours of operation correct? This is something that became really important, especially in the last year. You'll see on the Works of Wyoming listing, the photo on the left here, health and safety is an option. And Google My Business added a bunch of information to allow for businesses to update their customers on what their COVID protocols were. So they're always keeping an eye on what it is that businesses want to immediately present when somebody's Googling their business. So this list I have here on the left, it's a place to start. Chances are Google's going to change the things that they're adding here. And so there's just more things for you to take a look at and make sure are correct. So hours of operation are a big one. We saw changes in hours in the last year as people dealt with the pandemic, but also maybe your hours change seasonally. Maybe in the summertime, you're open throughout the weekends or later, or around the holidays in the wintertime, you do the same. So just make sure that when people go to find your hours, that these are correct. Because we've all been in that position where we Google something about a business and then we show up at the door and they're closed, and it's frustrating. Next is the listing type. So you'll see here under the stars, for Works of Wyoming, it says gift shop, and for WWBC, it says loan agency. So this is just a detail that allows people to know what you are. So maybe they really don't know anything about you. Maybe they saw your name on a business card or something like that. And so you want to make sure that you're categorized in a way that people understand. And then photos, you can always add new photos. So maybe you change the facade of your building, or you have a new product line, or you had some new photos taken that you're really proud of. These are things you can add and update over the course of time. And I highly recommend doing that, because this is probably one of the first impressions you're going to make on many, many customers, even before they get to your website. So these Google My Business listings can feel like a lot, and they can feel kind of frustrating to navigate. Fortunately, Google has a really robust resource website, which you can go to at support.google.com. So if you get into this listing and you don't know how to get to it, you don't know how to log in, you don't know how to change the thing, you notice the hours are wrong, or you want to add some photos, this is a place to start. So I would definitely jot down this address if you know that this is an area you're going to need to spend some time. So next up is your social media accounts. So this is going to look different business to business, because some of us have different social media accounts. Some of us are on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, or maybe just one of them. I really advise that you do this on every one of your social media accounts, whether you're active on it or not, because maybe somebody's going to find you there, even though you're not there updating it. If the profile is there, somebody's going to find it. And if the website doesn't work, if something about the information is wrong, if it's an old logo, if there's some outdated photos that you don't feel represent your business the way you want to, then that's unfortunate. That's making a first impression that you didn't realize you were making. So here are just some screenshots. The top left is a Twitter feed. And so here you'll have your location, your website, a photo and logo, as well as a little bit of space to create a bio. So just checking and making sure all of these things work. When you click them, they take you where you want to go, that you're happy with the information that's given, and it looks good to you. The one below that is Instagram. So similarly, this one has your name, a category for what you are, as well as a little bit of text that is available for you to explain what it is your business does, as well as your website. And you can also link to other pages. So if you have a sister company, or if it makes sense for you to link to another page in the same way that WWBC wants to let people know, hey, we also have the Works of Wyoming gallery that you can check out, then make sure that those tags are correct, that when people are clicking on them, they're getting to where you want them to go. And then here on the right is Facebook, and this one has a lot more stuff to check out. So you'll see in the column there on the left, it says about, you'll have your location, you'll have information, you'll have a link, phone number, email address, hours of operation. You can link your Instagram feed. There's a lot of opportunities here to list some information about your business, very similar to the Google My Business listing. And many people do use Facebook as a Google in a sense. You know, if you're traveling to a new town and you're looking for lunch or you're looking for a place to shop, you might just type something into Facebook and see what comes up. So one of the worst things that could happen is you have the wrong address or you have an old website linked and people don't get to see what it is that you have to offer. And so they pick somewhere new to go. Similarly, you have your logo and you have a header image, which is cut off in this photo, but is similar to Twitter. So you just want to make sure that those look the way that you want to and that people are seeing what you want them to see. Next is customer review sites. So the ones that are most common are Yelp and TripAdvisor, but there are many, many, many of these sites. So if you know of a place where you are getting reviews for your business, then I would add those to your list of things to check out. So maybe you go to yelp.com, you type in your business, and you see what information is there. TripAdvisor is similar, and I think you know, the idea of TripAdvisor is that you would be going to this website to determine what you're doing over the course of your vacation or your trip somewhere. So you definitely would want to make sure that you have the right information. If somebody was visiting the town that you're in and they were looking for a gift shop or a souvenir and they typed in souvenir shop, we want your name to show up and we want all the information to be up to date. So just like I said before, we want to make sure the name of the business is right. We want to make sure the website is linking correctly. The phone number is correct. The location looks correct. You have photos there that you want. And it looks like here on Yelp, they also have the opportunity for COVID updates. So just keeping an eye on what you can update given the season, or, you know, not that any of us knew we needed to plan for pandemic updates, but these websites are constantly being upgraded and optimized to make the user's experience more helpful, and also for you to be able to provide more information for your customers and your potential customers, whether they're just passing by or they're, you know, looking for someplace new to try in their hometown. So really making sure that you're taking some time to go in here and updating this information is incredibly important. So I want to pause here and ask, are you responding to your reviews and customer questions? And you're welcome to talk about this in the chat or just ponder it for a moment here. This is one of the things I see the most happen with businesses, and we could really talk about this at length. However, I just want to pause and bring attention to the fact that looking at review sites can be a really frustrating process because sometimes there aren't great reviews. Sometimes people were upset with an experience. Sometimes, you know, it can be really difficult to read those things and respond to them. However, my personal philosophy is that in most cases, of course, there's an exception to all rules, responding to your customers' questions, to their reviews, to their input is really important. And it's pivotal in them establishing a relationship with you. And so maybe there's something you could offer them if they were frustrated. Maybe you could just lead them off of the platform, and to, you know, suppose you get a review on Facebook that says that someone was unhappy with the product. You could send them a message and say, you know, we've received your feedback. We would love if you emailed us at this email address so we could discuss how to make this up to you. Similarly, when you get positive reviews, responding to those and letting people know you appreciate them, letting them know how else they can support you. Maybe you're having a customer appreciation event, and so you want to say, thank you so much for leaving these kind words. In July, we plan on doing a big event for our customers to let you know just how much we love you. I'd love to invite you there. Keep an eye out on our social media for that announcement. Really, it's a place to keep the conversation going, and not addressing what people are saying can leave people, you know, at another dead end. Similarly to going to a website and finding a broken link, they just run into a wall. A bad review does not have to be the end of your relationship with them. And a good review does not have to be the end of your good relationship with them. There's opportunity in all of these. So I really urge you, as you start to dig into these platforms, particularly in the review sites, to think about how you want to go about communicating with the people who've taken the time to offer some feedback, on their experience with you, or to let them know how much they really enjoyed shopping with you, dining with you, whatever it is their experience looked like. All right, so next is local listings, and this is very similar. Well, I was gonna say it's very similar to review sites, but it depends on the local listings. So these are just some ideas here to get you started. You have your local chamber of commerce. Maybe you're a member there. There's your local tourism board. There's also statewide tourism. Maybe you have a business listing there, or they have an opportunity to feature your business on some sort of a database or map. This looks different town to town, state to state. So it's tough to say where exactly you need to go for this. However, if you poke around on Google and what's available in your community, I guarantee you're gonna find some opportunities. Other things are membership organizations. So maybe you're a member of some other organization like Rotary or something like that. Maybe you're in a neighborhood like a downtown district, and that website or that platform offers a listing. Similarly, sometimes regional press, newsletters, magazines, directories, something like that, have sections that feature businesses in shopping districts and that kind of thing. So this is, again, this is going to look different wherever you're at in your community. However, it's very important to double check and make sure that all of these are correct. Make the phone number, the email address, the hours of operation, the name, the photos, and just connecting with whoever runs these, whether it's your chamber or a local magazine, just reaching out to them and figuring out, hey, how can I update this information? I'm not, I have some better photos I'd like to feature, or we upgraded our website and I would like to make sure that's linked. Maybe you didn't have a website before and now you do. And so you definitely want to make sure you get that on all of your listings. And similar to that is relevant industry listings. So here I just have a photo of the SBA that has the WWBC listed there, a few ones down, and that's the WWBC is going to be on the SBA website because we are partnered with the Small Business Administration. Another example of this that is probably more relevant, especially to a service-based business or a retailer. I previously owned a small bakery and did weddings. And so I had a lot of listings on wedding websites. So there was platforms that were designed for brides to go to in order to plan their wedding. And they had listings of everything from people who sell dresses to florists, photographers, cake makers. And so I had a lot of listings that were floating around out there. Some of them had reviews, but all of them had information about me. And so it was very important that I made sure that that information was up to date. So I can't tell you what your relevant industry listings are, but I'm certain that you know what they are based on the work that you're doing. And even just doing some Googling of your competitors, or looking at folks who are doing work similarly to you, or even asking your friends, then you're gonna find out some places that you can check out to take a look at this as well. So lastly, I'm going to talk about SEO, or search engine optimization. So I am no SEO expert. However, in a nutshell, what SEO is it's making sure that you're showing up online. So when you Google restaurant in Laramie, and if you're a restaurant in Laramie, are you showing up? And how high up on this Google listing are you showing up? And the way it works is there's little crawlers, imagine these kind of sci-fi crawlers crawling through the internet and finding information, and then creating an index of locations and websites, and then optimizing who's at the top based on relevancy. So there's a lot of ways to make sure that you're optimizing this, yourself in search engines. But I think a good place to start, especially since we're just talking about doing a really quick and fast audit of your online presence, is to just Google yourself. Maybe Google a couple keywords about you, maybe women's clothing in the town you're in, florist in the town you're in, party planner in the town, whatever keyword is relevant to your industry, and seeing where you're at. Are you at the top of the list? Are you on the first page? Ideally, we want you on the first page. I mean, very ideally, we want you at the very top. But if you're on the first page, then you're doing pretty well. So like I said, I am not an SEO expert. However, we do have webinars from SEO experts who know so much more than me. And you can get to those on the WWBC's YouTube channel. These are all recordings of past webinars. They're all entirely free. So if you go to youtube.com and find the Wyoming Women's Business Center's channel, and then in the search type in SEO, then you'll get all of the relevant webinars that we have that have covered this topic. So this would be a really great place to start if you feel like you want to learn more, or you know, maybe you want to dig into it yourself, or even hire somebody to help you in this realm. So that was quite a bit very fast. So I would love to answer any questions that any of you have. And so go ahead and type those in the chat. And while you do that, I'm going to go over just a little bit of information. The Wyoming Women's Business Center is made possible through several partnership agencies. The center's primary funding comes from the U.S. Small Business Administration and the Wyoming Business Council. And we are so thankful for their support and guidance, and look forward to all the work that we get to do ahead. Here you'll see some contact information for our business counselor. As I mentioned before, if you're interested in getting some individualized business counseling, you can reach out to Jonathan with his contact information here. And be sure to visit our website at wyomingwomen.org to learn more about all of the services and to fill out our online intake form to become a client. Additionally, we have lots of upcoming webinars. So if you enjoyed these, we have plenty coming up. You can visit our website under the training tab to learn more. You'll see here, these are the 3 that we have upcoming in June. You can register for all of these to attend live or to get the recording in your inbox by clicking on those RSVP buttons. Like I said, when I close the webinar tonight, a survey is going to pop up on your screen. It's just a quick 5-question survey, and I ask that you stay online and complete it for us. We read each of these surveys, and it helps us to plan our upcoming calendar and improve our offerings. I'm just going to take a quick look and see if we have any questions. It doesn't look like we do, but if you have any follow-up questions, then feel free to reach out, and I would love to talk with you one-on-one. Thank you all for attending. I look forward to seeing you next time.